So welcome everyone to a special video, especially related to finding a job, or at least increasing your chances of finding a job and getting a job. And it's like, yes, I'm giving this as a remedy to the masses, where a birth chart is a thumbprint, right? There's something unique about every single chart. So it's like me saying that, hey, let me show you that you have eyes. You figured out, oh, you have eyes. But for me to tell you for me to actually look at the eye, to see if the eye is unique, I have to look into the retina. That's why they have the eye scanners. I can't do that here on the mass level. So, when these remedies are given, you have to kind of take them with a very broad mind. The other thing, I probably will not activate comments on this till later on, because I don't want to see any opinions. I don't want to see anything. Okay. So, the very first thing about employment that I have seen in certain cases, I haven't seen, is quite simple. Okay. Is that when I'm doing readings, people who are unemployed, mostly it's people who have gotten bachelor's degree, and then suddenly after bachelor's they move to master's. Then they do another master's, that's still no jobs. And the proper way of understanding this path of degrees in education is when you get a bachelor's degree, you're supposed to have work experience first in order for you to go to master's. Where now students will go suddenly straight from bachelor's to master's because they can't seem to find a job in the middle. But the master's will only have when you have worked for 4 or 5 years in a corporate environment, whether it's marketing, human resources, accounting, sales. And then when you go into MBA, that broadens your mind more. But you go straight there. But also one thing we see is that certain people are looking for only specific jobs. That if you graduated with computer science degree, you want to get a computer science degree related job. And I get that. Okay. But let me just tell you my own little story. I don't come from a affluent, rich family. So growing up, my parents are like, you want this? You want this shoe? You want that basketball for yourself? We can't get this until for the next 4 or 5 months. Get a job, make your money, and now you can do all this. You want to get a license? Whose car are you going to drive? Dad's driving a car, sister's driving a car. Okay, well, I'm going to have to find some job. And back then, a payment for a car used to be like $150 a month, $120 a month. I remember my Toyota Corolla was $129 a month, which is like a gone dream. I think now Toyota Corolla will cost you no more, at minimum like $400 or $500. But the thing is, I was in a situation where I didn't feel afraid because I had no degrees, nothing, no qualifications. So I'm like, I gotta find a job. So guess what I did? I became a janitor for about 2 years, going from one school to another, cleaning toilets, cleaning classrooms, principal's office. And for that time, I was actually making pretty good money. Because everybody who's making minimum wage at $6.50 an hour, $7 an hour back then, I was actually making $12 an hour as a janitor. 10 to 12. So that's like, give it to me. Because I didn't want to, yes, I had insecurities. That, oh my God, I hope nobody sees me. But the thing is, I'm like, who's going to see you? You're in a school. Whichever friends, family, relatives that you're thinking about, they'll never come to the school. So yeah, you do go through those insecurities and you do it. But I worked. I got a job. Even After that, I got a job in administrative assistant. Then from bunch of those, then moved into the mortgage side. And yes, I got fired and laid off from all of them. Why? Not because of them being racist or something against me. There was no racism with me growing up. I was incompetent. And why I was incompetent, it was my fault, is because when I was working, let's say I was doing underwriting. I used to do underwriting for mortgages. So I have a screen open. They used to give us 2 monitors back then, those big, thick ones. And what I used to do, thinking that I was smart, I would be putting a browser on top, and behind it would be another browser where I was searching for astrology information. This planet in this house, this Navamsha, what is this? Okay, what is the Dhan Yoga, Raj Yoga? And of course, what was happening, the IT department or the boss is seeing like, he's mainly focusing on this versus this. Who's this guy? What is he doing? So they fired me, and they should. I deserved it. But the thing is, I used to get jobs like that. Why? Because I didn't care for some status job. Because I knew where I was. I was at the bottom of the pecking order. So job can be achieved depending upon if you're willing to just do anything. Now, it's a bit different when you are in a different country compared to US. Because in India, it's 1.4 billion people. So yeah, even if you find 1,000 people with their birth chart with Raj Yoga, Dhan Yoga in it, now Deshkal Patra has to come into play. Deshkal Parastati. Meaning, what is a country going through? If the country is going through a very tough state, so now those 1,000 Raj Yogas and Dhan Yoga may become defunct. Versus the same people, you put them in US. Just take them, bring them here. 1,000 people going through their Raj Yoga, Dhan Yoga time period. Somehow they'll easily find a job somewhere in a department store, in some office building, doing some admin work, call centers. But even in India, I get it because I have seen these explanations by you that even if I want to just get a call center job, which I myself have done 3-4 times, didn't really like it because I was introvert. I didn't like talking to people. But I was able to find it. And in India, it's no call center job, office jobs not there, IT jobs. I mean, with double masters, I'm seeing people not finding any jobs. No, but then when I ask somebody, I'm like, why can't you just go apply for a job at Pizza Hut? There's Pizza Hut, Taco Bell, McDonald's. There's these department stores to sell something. They said I would. Now, this is not everybody. Somebody may even do it. But then I see that the mental makeup where they're like, no, I can't do that job. My parents will not allow me. And they're like 22, 23 years old. My parents want me to do something with better status. They don't want any relative to see me working as a behind the counter. And that also is a big problem. There's this whole thing about protecting a reputation, protecting the name, because otherwise the nose will get cut. My parents didn't get that. We don't have a nose. You go out and work. And I didn't like that. I'm like, just get me these shoes. Just get me this basketball. Just get this, put me into this basketball camp thing. They had no, because I didn't realize back then what scarcity we had. My father was making $7 an hour. Mom was making $10, $11 an hour. We had an apartment. Back then you could afford an apartment with that hourly pay. But yeah, I didn't see that, we weren't really affluent. We were in an apartment, and I just thought it's an average middle class life. Because all my friends who were Persian, they too came right around the same time as me. They too had parents with the apartment and working in a department store. I'm like, oh, hey, this is cool. We're all in the same, level, same echelons of society. But once you get to a point, you're like, oh man, we were poverty line. And then also, of course, in US, when you lose a job, you can get unemployment. At first, I used to feel really guilty. Like, dude, I don't want government's money. I don't want your money. I just need to find a job. But then I found out that wait, it is your money. You're putting unemployment and Social Security from your paycheck, because that's how much of an imbecile I was at that particular time. So when it comes to employment and unemployment, it's about what are you willing to do? Because, like, for example, if you look at a job scenario, Mars and Saturn play a pivotal role with their transit. Jupiter just will show a big overall theme, but guess what? I went back in my own chart, looked at all the Jupiter transit. I'm like, wait a second. Whether Saturn transit was there or not, whether Jupiter transit there was not, Mars, Saturn, I said, I've had like over 40 jobs, made money. I got fired, got laid off, but I made money. And without transit, I lost one job, I'll get another job. Why? Because of the fact I wasn't picky. I'm like, I need to make money. Especially when after my father passed away. I'm like, whatever job I can get, I need to get. So then I worked in office, couldn't find office job. I went to a department store, worked at Robinson's May, which turned into Macy's, I think. Then went back into the office circuit. Then went into like cold calling for mortgages. Then I went into deeper side of mortgages. So jobs, when it comes to jobs and transit, I really never specifically are like, oh, well, I haven't had a job for 1 year. When will I get a job? Because a job can happen anytime you want, especially in most circumstances, and that too in certain countries. But what happens is that bit of that ego gets in the way. That, oh my God, what if somebody sees me? Oh, I don't want to do these low-paying jobs. And of course, the older you get, the more you're like, dude, like today, if I have to go and work in Home Depot or something and do something to pay for my family and take care of my family, I'm going to do that. For me, I'll have no shame. Because of all the rejection in life, I've become shameless. That's how you have to be if you want to make it into this world. So when it comes to being unemployed and employed, I had to give this small lecture because it really, the transit and dasha part shouldn't matter. If you're willing to take on any job, then you will get that job. But then, yes, after a certain age with your education, you're like, listen, I paid all this money, went into debt for my master's twice. This person, just 2 days ago, I did this reading of 3 people with double masters. One of them actually went into a $140,000 debt, has not been able to find a job for 2 years. And of course, the debt notices keep coming in. The interest rate is piling up. So you're like, I need to get my investment back. I need to do something. I get that mentality, right? It's easier said than done to just work in a minimum wage job. But if you need a job that is available no matter what. You can, like for example, there's this famous Indian teas and MBA chai walas and all of that, the examples that you guys give me. If I had zero money in my account in India, I would probably start a janitorial service. I'm like, every building, do you need a service? Cleaning this office after everything is done? Here, call me. This is my card. This is what I will charge. And I'll do it for, first week I'll do it for free. You let me know if you like it. And of course, I would go there, do my thing, and it'll be like, okay, this person's working hard. They're willing to work for free for a week. And, they don't have any ego or shame in doing this work. Then this person will be like, okay, I want to hire somebody. Yes, you come and clean my building afterwards. And then from there, I can create like literally a business of cleaning business buildings. So you have to have that mindset. You have to have that street mindset. And it's only because I worked in the streets, not like per se, but worked in some of the lowest paying jobs, I realized, okay, got to do it. Got to make that money. Got to pay that bill. Got to pay that car payment. Now, how do you get a job? And again, each chart is a thumbprint. and especially a country has its own thumbprint, its own dasha. And I already made a video in 2020 about India's horoscope of Saturn Sarvashtak Varga, because Sarvashtak Varga really works in a mundane chart more than anything. And Saturn transit, especially in Aquarius, and then Pisces, it's gonna be rough. It is gonna be rough. But this is what you do. There's something known as NAV TARA system. And for this NAV TARA system, you're going to have to understand where your moon nakshatra is placed, which nakshatra your moon is in. And of course, if you're new to this whole concept, you can just go to my reports on ksastrology.com, where on option 6, you'll get a report and you can see where your moon is in the report. Okay. And or any of the consultations you get a report. And there's a concept with the wherever your planetary nakshatras are or moon nakshatra is. Okay, so you have to understand a little bit about nakshatras here, the 27 constellation and chronological order of the constellations. Like it starts from Ashwini, Bharani, Kritika, Rohini, Mriksira, Ardra, Punarvasu, Pushya, Ashlesha, Magha, Purva Falguni, Uttara Falguni, Hasta, Chitra, Swati, Vishaka, and then Anuradha, Jeshta, Mula, Purva Ashada, Uttara Ashada, and then comes Saravan, Dhanishta, Satvishak, Purva Bhadrapada, Uttara Bhadrapada, and then Revati. So whichever nakshatra your moon is in, so let's say your moon is in Kritika nakshatra. Okay, moon is in Kritika nakshatra. Then anytime moon transit in the nakshatras of the moon, which is Rohini, Hasta, and Saravan, any of these 3 nakshatra days, you send your resume. This is the number 1 days to send your resume. Number 2 will be when moon, if let's say you're a Kritika nakshatra, then sending your resume when moon is transiting in the nakshatra of either Bharani, Purva Falguni, or Purvashada. This is known as Sampat and Atimitra nakshatra. Sampat as in Sampatti, prosperity. Atimitra is a secondary thing. It's really towards support. Atimitra is more about getting support from something. So it also kind of works because you want that support of the corporation. But when especially you do Sampatta nakshatra, which is the next nakshatra. So whatever your moon nakshatra is, whatever next nakshatra is, and its ruler, all the nakshatra ruled by that planet will be Sampat nakshatras. You send your resume that day on these nakshatras. Now, that's not the only thing. When you wake up, the day you know you're going to be sending your resume, you're going to, before you wake up, in your bed, just do this. Every day I do this naturally. It's like a habit now, like a breathing. So you do this in your bed, like you see which nostril the oxygen is coming from. So right now when I breathe, my left nostril is active. When the left nostril is active, you're going to get up on the bed, say whatever mantra prayer you like, whatever God you like to pray to. Put the left foot on the ground. Okay? You can thump it or you can just put a very dominant step, left step on the floor. Get up. When you get out of your room that you're sleeping in, put the left foot forward into the main house. When you leave your home, you open the door with the left hand and you put your left foot out. But make sure you're breathing from the left nostril continuously while you're doing all these things. Especially if you, let's say, go for an interview. And you'll open the car door with the left hand and just get in the car. But the main thing is this, because you're unemployed, you're not just going to go for an interview. What you're going to be doing is that when that day, when you have woken up with this proper theme of this Swar Vidya. Then when you're about to send the resume and your moon is in Sampat Nakshatra or Atimitra Nakshatra, even Kesham Nakshatra works great. Okay? But you're going to see which nostril you're breathing from. When you're breathing from the left nostril, you will send your resume and you'll press the submit button with your left hand. This particular method increases your ability to get a call back for an interview. First thing. When you do get an interview, because now 95% of the interviews or 99% of the interviews don't happen in person, they're going to happen over Zoom. So what happens is when, let's say I have an interview at 6:30. So what I'm going to make sure I'm going to see which nostril I'm breathing from maybe 2-3 minutes before. Okay. And there's ways to switch breaths. Like you can put a little ball into the right side of your armpit. You can put your right foot up, and within 2 minutes, your breath will change to the left one. So when you're giving an interview, breathe from the left one, because this is going to give a better aura to your persona, the one who's interviewing you. Because you want to give the persona of the moon, not the persona of the sun. You don't want to look authoritative. You don't want to look dominating or egotistical in front of the person. You want to look very nurturing. You want to look very calm, peaceful. You want to look like you want to be in service to that person, because when the left breath is operating, then the moon's aura is on you. And what is Chandra? The beautiful one. The other person will think this person, great, perfect, beautiful, perfect answers, everything. Okay, let's set you up for the second interview. Although for me now, this concept is alien. 5 interviews, 6 interviews, even for basic job. Because for me, sometimes it was just like, most of the interviews I went to, they're like, can you start on Monday? And I'm like, yes, I'll start on Monday. You want me to start tomorrow? I'll start tomorrow. Well, no, start Monday. We'll see you tomorrow. We'll see you on Monday at 8 a.m. That's how it used to be. But this is something that is going to increase your chances of getting that callback. Because right now, people can't even get callbacks. So do this. And again, you have to have some knowledge of nakshatras, chronological order that I gave. So if, let's say your moon is in Purva Bhadrapada nakshatra, which is a nakshatra controlled by Jupiter, because you were born in the Jupiter nakshatra, the next nakshatra would be Uttar Bhadrapada, which is Saturn. Saturn becomes your Sampat nakshatra. All Saturn rule nakshatra will be Sampat nakshatras. Then the 12th nakshatra or the 27th nakshatra from your own nakshatra of Purva Bhadrapada will be Satabishar. So all Rahu rule nakshatra becomes your Atimitra, friendly nakshatras. And it's a whole concept, like what day you can do what should you do what, but I'm trying to just keep it compact. And although this video is not going to be compact, but at least, like I said, it's going to get your locomotive going. And once you do use this technique, do reply over time. I did this happened, I did this didn't happen, so I know. Okay. So anyway, guys, hopefully this was helpful for you. And again, you can go to karasastrology.com, where you'll find my books, reports, consultations, including my wristwatch and wealth course, which is very important, especially for bringing the right time in your wrist, in your life. And when the time is not on your side, bring time to you. Because why? The most powerful remedy is when it comes to you. Remember that. You don't do the remedy. The remedy comes to you. For example, if you all know the Tirupati Balaji miracle remedy that happened with me, that I made a short on, right? That was life-changing. Because right after that, I was able to construct 2 properties. Right now, I'm in the middle of constructing a 3rd property. Tirupati Balaji remedy, I didn't have to do anything. I didn't have to buy something for my Vastu and doing this for the Vastu. It came to my door. So this is like you're bringing the time to you. So anyway, thank you very much, and my good wishes to all of you to find jobs, to help your family, to grow that money, invest that money. Don't buy useless things until you start making the big money. But yeah, my Vak Siddhi, my Vak blessings are with you. Thank you. From the smallest, cheapest, as long as it's a correct watch, you will see ultimately you'll have the premium watch, which is, of course, you'll find that on my academy. Anyway, we'll see you later. Bye-bye.